Natalya just told a great backstage story about Brock Lesnar, so we'll take a look at that. We'll also see what's going on with Bianca Belair and Roman Reigns. Let's start things off with this big news of Bianca Belair being out of action. So this entire part of the Becky and Bianca feud started with the legitimate injury to Becky Lynch. She suffered that real injury to her voice box a few weeks back at the hands of Bianca Belair. Interesting enough, they decided to take that legitimate Becky Lynch injury and use it as fuel for Becky to be even more brutal towards Bianca Belair. That's exactly what we saw on Raw. Becky brutally attacked Bianca Belair as a way to get back for that voice box injury. WWE is now reporting about a Bianca Belair injury, but this one appears to be storyline related and not a legitimate injury. WWE said that Bianca suffered a fractured hyoid bone in her throat as a result of the Becky Lynch attack. WWE said that Bianca doesn't need surgery, but will be out of action indefinitely for an unspecified amount of time. And WWE is going all in with this storyline injury. Bianca didn't even appear at scheduled WWE live event shows over the weekend and was replaced by Rhea Ripley. Even Bianca Belair's meet and greet sessions with the fans have been cancelled and replaced with other superstars, so they're really committing to this injury. Now, even though they said she'll be out of action indefinitely, no one expects this injury angle to threaten her WrestleMania match at all. That match is most definitely still happening between Becky and Bianca. Maybe they used this to build a heroic comeback for Bianca Belair. Becky Lynch probably starts bragging about how Bianca is out for WrestleMania, and that's when we'll see the surprise return for Bianca Belair ahead of WrestleMania. That seems to be the plan right now for Bianca because WWE fully shut her down from all appearances throughout the week. So the next time we'll see her most definitely will be within these next 2 weeks here before WrestleMania itself. Can Bianca top the entire story of getting her revenge on Becky Lynch? We'll have to see if that happens. We've definitely seen a much different version of Brock Lesnar since he returned to WWE in 2021. But there's still a side of Brock Lesnar that the public hasn't seen much of at all. And that's the version of Brock Lesnar that's backstage when the cameras are off. Natalya recently spoke on the Sports Guy Talking Wrestling podcast and opened up how helpful Brock Lesnar is backstage. She had this to say, quote, "People don't know this, and maybe this is too much to say. I don't want to ruin Brock's persona. Brock watches all of our matches in Gorilla. The last match that I had on Smackdown, he watched and he critiqued and gave us feedback, gave us advice, told us what we could do better. He stayed there and watched, and it was so cool getting advice from him. I really look up to him, I really like him, and he gives back. When it's time to give back to somebody, he's getting knocked because he knows how to fight, and I love that about him. He really leads by example. I think he's very talented at what he does, and what I see backstage is him giving back. I'd like to go to Brock for advice, and he does know what he's talking about. He told me a dream match for him would have been to wrestle Bret Hart. We were talking last week, and he said that would have been a dream match because I told him how much Bret was a fan of his work. I think Brock is awesome." End quote. So there's definitely a whole other side to Brock that we still don't know anything about. Everyone assumes that Brock is there just for the parts of the show and heads out as soon as it's over. But according to Natalya, that's not true at all. He sticks around, hangs around in Gorilla, and is right there behind the curtain to answer questions and give advice to any superstar who needs it. And that's absolutely great. Brock just celebrated his 20th anniversary of his WWE debut this March, and everyone knows all of his success that he's had over the last 2 decades. Brock Lesnar truly made himself one of these global superstars that everyone knows about. People that don't even keep up with WWE at all still know who Brock Lesnar is because he's that big of a star. So for him to pass down that advice and knowledge could definitely help the next upcoming superstar. Now let's get into everything that happened with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar's story on Smackdown. A confrontation between Roman and Brock was advertised for the show, So Roman comes out and talks about how he's looking forward to seeing Brock for the first time since the MSG beatdown. But Paul Heyman interrupts him and says that Brock had some issues and won't be here tonight. So Roman continues, but then Heyman tells him that Brock is actually arriving shortly, and Roman books it outside of the ring and to the backstage area. This part here was a little weird because at the very start of the promo, Roman knew that Brock was going to be on Smackdown tonight. He was fully aware that Brock would be in the building and was calm about it. Actually seemed like he was looking forward to it. But then Heyman tells him that Brock had flight issues, and then that Brock was actually arriving shortly, and Roman flips out and panics, like he had no idea Brock was going to be here tonight. So it's not a big deal, but it's definitely something that stood out. If Roman was under the impression from the start of the segment that Brock would have been there tonight, then the panicking exit would have made more sense. But Roman Reigns walked to the ring knowing that Brock Lesnar was going to be there tonight. So why panic when you start hearing he's arriving? But the entire bloodline makes a sprint for their truck, but Brock Lesnar appears and drives a forklift into the truck's windows. They run out and head for another truck, and Brock pulls the door off while they drive away. So who had the upper hand and advantage here? Definitely Brock Lesnar. He won this interaction here with ease. He had Roman Reigns and the entire bloodline in an absolute state of panic and forced them to leave the building. But was this Brock Lesnar's full revenge for the events of WWE MSG? Well, not really. Brock definitely embarrassed Roman Reigns, but Brock didn't get his hands on any of the bloodline members. So it would appear that Brock's revenge for the MSG is far from over. We don't have that many SmackDown episodes left before WrestleMania, but one of these last remaining shows before the big event, Brock should surely get his hands on Roman Reigns as payback for MSG. We'll probably even see Brock Lesnar pose with both titles, which is something we've seen Roman do already, but something that Brock has yet to do. So maybe that's what these last two SmackDowns before WrestleMania will look like. Brock gets his two belts moment, and Roman probably gets the advantage on the other episode of SmackDown that's left. Either way, it's been an exciting and entertaining build-up to what WWE is labeling as the biggest match in WrestleMania history, and hopefully it does live up to some of that hype that it's receiving. Who do you think walks out of WrestleMania 38 as a unified WWE champion? Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.